Hello, and thanks for joining me on this episode of Simply Saturday. Today is the last opportunity that I'm going to take to show you a fast and easy Christmas treat for 2024. We did one last week, and that actually prompted some other ideas, and I wanted to show you this version that can be even a little faster than last week's version just because there could be less stamping. I'll show you what I mean. We're still doing treats with the Hershey Kisses, and I have got some different varieties here. So what I'm going to do is pop 6 of these little Santa hat ones into a cellophane bag. Now, this is a 2-inch bag, 2 by 10. I got my cellophane bags this time probably from Amazon. They're available at different online stores. What we don't have is this size cellophane bag from Stampin' Up! At this time. So you're gonna find your bags wherever you can get them. You're gonna pop your little kisses in there. I decided 6 was a good number. Then I'm gonna take some twine and close it up. Next week I will be continuing on with Simply Saturday, and I'm going to begin showing you some projects with some of the new items that are coming in January that I am super excited to show you. Some of them, obviously, I've already gotten as a demonstrator. We're able to order things earlier than the public, and so I did place a couple of orders, and I've had some things come. And beginning with next week's Simply Saturday, I'm going to start showing you those items. But we still have a little bit of time before Christmas. And if you're like me, sometimes you get right to the end and you still need a few little treats or some tags or even a quick card idea. All right, so I've got those in there. I have my twine tied in a knot just to hold it for now. And then I'm going to trim off some of this bag. Again, I didn't need a 10-inch tall bag, but that's the size that they came in the 2-inch ones that I was able to find most recently. And that was probably a while ago. But I will put a link to 2-inch cello bags in Amazon below this video in the description box. Okay, so once you have your Hershey Kisses, depending on which style you want. Once you have those in your bag and tied off with twine and then the top of the bag cut down, now all we need to do is stamp a cute tag. So let's do a couple of different ones and then we'll tie our tags on. All right, the first one that I'm going to do, this tag shape is actually a die that coordinates with Merriest Trees. Merriest Trees is only going to be around for a little while longer. And so I used the die from that, and I'm going to use black ink. Here's my Memento Tuxedo Black. And I've got this Santa stamp. Now this is from a retired set called Be Jolly. I have used this set so very, very many times. From the sled to the tree to the little bird, the Santas, obviously. There's a cute to from in there. This has been a wonderful stamp set in my collection. All right, so we're going to ink up Santa with black. This is the first time that I've stamped this Santa today. So let's just do a quick practice like you see me do quite often. Okay, it's a little bit light, so I probably need a little bit more ink by doing a refill into my Memento pad, but that's going to be fine. I just want to make sure that I add enough. All right. So I'm going to stamp Santa. He just barely fits on this. Try to get both hands on there. All right, very cute. Now, let's take real red Stampin' Blends. And with the lighter of the two, I'm going to color Santa's hat. I'm using the wide brush tip, which gives me really quick coverage. Then I'm going to come in here in that tiny little spot. Let's get Santa's coat. And still just I'm using the Real Red Light. And then I'm going to come in with the dark and just add a little bit of shading. All right, let's go ahead and do the pants. Santa's suit of red, right? Even though this at first glance is a big image that requires a lot of coloring, it's really fast because it doesn't need very much. Let's get the sleeves. I mean, I'm only using my red marker so far. All right, then I'll take the dark and I'll use the bullet end. I'm going to outline on the inside here where I just colored. Just adding a little bit of shadow, a little bit of shading. Okay, so that gives the hat a little bit more pop. I think underneath his beard here, that's going to actually look darker. So I'm just going to go over that with my dark, and then right under the belt and right at the pant leg. Okay, so I'm just adding that dark, again, just as a shadow to deepen and give it a better effect. I think the bottom side of his arms might have a little shadow, and probably right here. Be careful not to get on his beard. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to come back with my light and just blend this in a little bit. That looks a little harsh to me. There we go. All right. I'll take a black now, and this is the basic black light. Believe it or not, there's a light and a dark black. And I think that his mittens are often white, but we need some contrast. So we've got the red suit, the black fur, the white fur, and we'll give him some black gloves and black boots. Otherwise, you got white on the fur cuff and then white mittens. I don't know, it just needs a little something. Okay, so there's the mittens. I'm trying really careful right there, and I kept missing. All right, and then the boots. These are small. I might switch to the bullet end of my marker if I'm having trouble staying in. All right, that's probably actually a little easier, and I'm not having to be so careful. Okay, the belt. Let's come in here. That gets really skinny, right, under his beard. Thank goodness for the bullet tip. And then I'm just going to put the middle of the belt buckle black because his belt would be going through it. And it is totally up to you. I mean, it is a tiny little area, but I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to take Daffodil Delight and see, this might not work so great. We might decide I should have just left it, but I'm going to go ahead and try to put this kind of yellow color in here, mimicking maybe metal for the belt. It's a tiny area. Okay, that worked. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do to just add a little bit more color, now I'm going over and beyond, but in case you do like the coloring portion, you might want to do this. If you don't like the coloring so much, you can skip it. I am now using Smoky Slate in the light, and I'm just going to put a little definition in the little beard folds here. Fluffy beard, which is actually kind of making the beard look whiter, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give him kind of light gray eyebrows just to contrast our white fur trim on the hat. Now, It's really good. I don't want to do too much. Let's see. I'll add a little gray right there on that shadow. The last thing I'm going to do is take, I'm torn. It's either going to be Bubble Bath Light or it might be Petal Pink Light. So let's take a scrap paper here and see which color, just to put a little bit of color in his cheeks. That's the Bubble Bath. And that, see, I think they're both good choices. All right, so we'll do this one with the Petal Pink, even though I'm kind of drawn to the Bubble Bath. All right, there you go. Just a teeny bit of color in his cheeks. Boom. All right, I think what would be fun is to add a little bit of Wink of Stella. Now this will be nearly impossible for you to see on camera, but I'm going to add some Wink of Stella up here in the little ball on his hat and also on the fur trim of the hat. And from my vantage, it's now giving it a little bit of sparkle. So the white hat and the little ball up here have a little sparkle, which is super cute. Okay, I really don't think that this will catch it on camera, but Wink of Stella is like that, and it's beautiful in person. Okay, this is our first one. Let's attach it. All right, so I already have this one tied with a piece of twine. Oh, this is the one that we just put the candies in. So let's use this one because I haven't tied a bow yet. All right, so I've got my twine tied in a knot. I was tempted to put to and from on here, but I think I'll leave it. You could totally put, oh, see, there's our coloring. You could totally put it on here if you want, maybe just with a marker, but I'm going to leave it. Let's thread it on. This is a pretty big tag for this small treat, but the Santa is so adorable that you just got to use him. All right, so I'm going to tie my tag on here. The cello bag is already tied shut. And I'm just going to add the tag and make a bow. So my loops are going to be bigger than they need to be at first, and then I will make them a little bit smaller. All right, there's my bow. Let's pull that a little tighter and a little tighter. Like I said, it is a big tag for this treat, but the Santa is so cute that I think it's appropriate. There we have it. All right, then I'm just going to trim these little tails. I am going to leave them a little long since the tag is large, like so. Look how cute, Santa with the little hats. All right, so there's our first one. Let's move on to the next one. On this one, I used the Sugar Cookie Hershey Kisses, and the little foil wrapper has green, red, and a light blue. So I thought on this one we would do a little bit more coloring. Now, this time I punched out a shape, and you can do that by using this punch, which right this second I'm forgetting what the name of the punch is. Okay, it's also available as a set of 3 dies, the exact same shape. I don't recall seeing that before when you could choose either the punch or the dies, but this is how they were offered, and I thought that was really fun. So Labeled with Love dies. This is probably the Labeled with Love punch. So I went ahead and punched that out of white cardstock. You could die cut it out of your white cardstock. And I'm going to reach for another retired stamp set that I just thought was too cute to get rid of. This was the Gnome for the Holidays. I'm going to use this little girl gnome, or the lady, because she will fit on this skinny little tag. So you do your little cellophane treats with your Hershey Kisses or whatever little candy treat you want to put in there, and then be creative with your tags. So I am doing obviously the ones that I'm showing you today, but you could use any number of tag shape. This was a set of dies that was available for quite a long time. the tailor-made tags, those would work great. You saw this tag, which was a die that came with various trees. So just use what you have between your dies or your punches to get your shapes. So on this one, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna trade out this black pad for a different one because this one probably needs more ink. I want this to be darker. So this is gonna be our practice girl. See if this ink pad has more black ink on it. Yes, it does. Okay, so let's get her on here. Much better. And I will use, how about, let's go like really bright because the colors in here are bright and fun. So you could use Granny Apple Green if you wanted. I am using, you could use Lemon Lime Twist. I reached for Parakeet Party. And we'll just put a little bit of color in this tree hat that she's wearing. So I'll just do part of this. I won't color the whole thing. But as you can see, these first two tags that I decided to do to show you are outline images. So they are asking to be colored in. On the last one, I'll do the fastest of all, which is just stamping, no coloring required. So stick with me until tag number 3 so you can see what I do there. Now this is easy to add your shadows because you're just going to go under each of these zigzags. I love using the Stampin' Blends to color because it really makes an artist out of me, and I am not an artist. Okay, so we've added some shading. That looks much better. And then I think we would want some fun colored bulbs. So let's do a couple red. And a couple yellow. This is Daffodil Delight, which is our brightest yellow. I love Lemon Lolly, but I don't think it would be bright enough. And then we could do, let's do a bright blue. I have a Tahitian Tide marker here, so I'm going to use that for the blue. Oh yeah. Cute. Okay, I think I want a blue star because I love that color blue so much. The star doesn't have to be yellow, right? All right, obviously then we would add a little bit of color in her dress and her shoes. Like I said, I'm not going to color the whole thing, so you don't have to sit here and watch me, but let's get this just one more step. All right, her dress, her sleeves would probably be that color. And then I won't color the apron, although I would do something to it, even if it was adding some shading. And I would definitely color the little holly right there. Now we have a good opportunity to use our bubble bath, which we almost used on Santa and didn't. Let's put some rosy cheeks on her, just right here on the apples of her cheeks. It's amazing what that tiny little step does. Okay, so we would finish coloring her. You can imagine her done. Now this one needs a hole punched in it because it didn't already have one. So I've got a 1/16 of a hole punch, 16th, yes, 16th hole punch. And this time I took some green and white twine and some red twine and just used them together. I already tied my knot so it would be secure. And now I'm stringing the tag on, securing it, and then I will tie a bow. I'm not going to take the time right this second to do it. All right, let's move on to our last one, which I promise is the fastest. In this instance, I'm going to actually use that same shape. So I need one more of those since we used one as a practice. There's my shape. Then I have the tree and the snowflakes. You've seen me use these this season already. These are from Reindeer Fun, which is right now on the last chance list. So if you're looking for this stamp set and dies or the adorable paper that coordinates, make sure that you go to my online store and get this before it sells out, because once things go onto that last chance list, they are known to sell out. All right, so very quickly and easily, I'm using Azure Afternoon as my blue ink. I'm going to stamp one tree. I'm going to stamp a couple of snowflakes. And I've got some scratch paper here. I'll stamp off so that they're lighter. Like so. Let's add a hole. Look, that one can be done in literally a couple of seconds. All right, we can punch that and add it to our twine. This one already has the bow tied. Let's see how I do if I undo it. I'm a little nervous, but because I already trimmed it also. All right, so I'm going to open it up. It does look like it has a knot, so that's holding it. We can thread this on. I might not have enough to tie a bow because, like I said, I already tied the bow and then I trimmed the tails. So this is going to be pretty short. So what I think I'll do is just tie a knot. And for those of you who don't like tying bows anyway, you now have permission to forget the bow and just tie a knot. There we go. Look at how cute our little treat holders are. I'm going to trim these a little bit. I also want it over a little more. There we go. All right, trim, trim. We'll bring this one back in. I get one try to make the bow with 2 pieces of twine. Wish me luck. Oh, I didn't catch both of them. There's our bow. I don't want to take up your time today. There's your bow, and here is our Santa. There you have a fun, easy, very practical way to make some cute holiday treats and hand them out, and it's just in time for Christmas. Thanks for stopping by, and until next time, happy stamping.